Full review of XERJOFF 40 knots coming right up. Peace be with you, everyone. Welcome to my channel. My name is Trevor. Really grateful to have you here. And today's video is going to be a full review of this fragrance, 40 knots, from the house of XERJOFF. So, really beautiful presentation, as is par for the course for the house of XERJOFF. Let's go ahead and take a look at the atomizer, get this on skin, and then we'll go ahead and do that one more time. Get it into the review here. So this is a fun review to go through because the notes are not listed for this fragrance. At least XERJOFF has not officially released them. There are subtle guidelines, but those are more in line, it would seem, with the marketing campaign for this fragrance, which is that of a yacht club. This is from the Join the Club collection. There's a handful of like country club themes surrounding the fragrances in this collection. This one is a yacht club, 40 knots being a nautical knot that you put on the boat and the sails. So, like I said, 2012 release, so it's been around for some time. This is a very easy to wear, inoffensive, almost a bit linear and boring fragrance, so it is great for a entry-level designer niche fragrance. Like I said, it's easy to wear, mass appealing, gets compliments, and it's very simple. Good for the office. However, it is rather expensive. We'll get to the price and best discounter to find this one at the end of the video. So like I said, they have a marketing campaign surrounding a yacht club or some type of nautical life. However, it's a little bit of a misleading campaign since the actual scent profile here is not an aquatic or something that is necessarily a summertime fragrance, although I think one of the best times for this is summer nights, and we'll get into that further into the review as well. So let's get right into the notes. I'm gonna put a picture up on the screen over here of what I find the note breakdown actually is, as the ones online are not quite as accurate as they could be. So first off, I feel in the opening this reminds me a lot of Tom Ford's Costa Azzurra, and I get from the opening here something very brisk and mentholic, so I'm going to guess that there's cypress in here. I also get a little bit of driftwood, like in Costa Azzurra, the EDP, not the Parfum. There's also a little bit of a green apple nuance to this. I've gotten many compliments and even smelled it on my clothes in the far dry down, a certain type of like apple pie, cinnamon apple pie type of chord. So almost like the green apple that you would get in Nautica Voyage. There's that little bit of a mist of wateriness that's almost like the waves crashing up against the shoreline, and just that little bit of moisture in the air that you kind of get. So opening sort of cypress, driftwood, green apple. The mid is for me something that gets a little bit kind of powdery and floral. So this is a little bit spicy of a fragrance. I wouldn't say that it's like overtly spicy, but I do get, like I said, some cinnamon apple pie in the deep dry down. The mid is a little bit of like carnation. I think there could be geranium in here because it does have that mentholic cooling effect. Rose seems to be a prominent floral component in here. It gets a little bit like a green, dewy type rose, something a little bit cold and bitter. Galbanum, or not galbanum, Angelica. So this fragrance has a certain powdery quality to it, like a green, bitter powderiness to it, and for me, that fragrance note has showed up in a handful of other fragrances of mine, so I think it's going to be in here, and it's what's accounting for the powderiness. So Angelica is my vote for that. I've seen some people say that it might be iris, but I don't quite get that necessarily with this fragrance. So yeah, you've got like carnation, geranium, rose, Angelica. I'm trying to think if there would be any more. I know I've got the picture over here, so I think there's like one other note or floral component going on, and then in the base, this turns into a very ambery style fragrance. So like you get an amber accord, the cinnamon, like I was saying, possibly even some frankincense, as there is a certain degree of kind of I want to say like smokiness in here, in terms of like a textural feel almost. That also has like an ambergris note, so this is very salty. Salty is probably one of the major accords in this fragrance, and something that I think comes very much to the foreground in certain weather patterns, which we'll get into as well as the review continues. So yeah, like frankincense, cinnamon, amber, ambergris, trying to think, cedar for sure. Cedar also is a major component here. So those are sort of the notes that I determined that I get out of this fragrance. And now in terms of the accords that this note breakdown sort of brings to the foreground here, I get predominantly woody is going to be one of them, fresh, a lot from like the mentholic qualities, sweet is another one, and then spicy. Floral also is like a fifth one. This is very much a creamy sort of creamy, smooth, textural feel, like a creamy, smooth, and powdery, I feel like are three good ways to describe this one. Salty, a little bit bitter, sweet. The green facets in here offer themselves to be slightly bitter, but overall it's a dry, salty, sweet fragrance. Now in terms of fragrances in my collection that this reminds me of, Royal Oud from Creed is one in particular. This smells like a very I almost want to say more easy to wear. It definitely has more of like a mass appeal, sweet, doughy quality to it, but it captures that sort of angelica and cedar powdery woody quality very well, and just reminds me a lot of the warmer aspects of that fragrance, while also just being a little bit more dense, a little bit more creamy, sweet, almost youthful, definitely more mass appealing. So that's one fragrance in my collection that this reminds me of. This also gets compared often to Dior's private collection Ombre Nuit. Trussardi Riflesso is a fragrance that this reminds me a little bit of. Another reason why I think there might be green apple in this. Roberto Cavalli Uomo is another fragrance that sort of has this very nice honeyed floral sweetness. Also honey is another note that I forgot to mention, and that is likely in the base here. It's like a very nice, refreshing sort of sweetness that's not quite dense and sugary and gourmand, but just very smooth. It adds to that smooth quality that this fragrance has. So those are some of the other fragrances in my collection that I feel like remind me a little bit of this fragrance. So it's definitely very unique. Some of the scent profiles in everyday life that I feel conjure up this scent profile. One, like I said, there is an apple pie accord to this, but that mentholic, brisk quality in the opening, that slightly salty marine cypress vibe going on. One of the pictures that this paints for me is sort of like a apple pie served with mint chocolate ice cream. So oftentimes it's like a scoop of vanilla on your plate with the apple pie, but this is sort of like that spicy, sweet, warm cinnamon apple quality, but then there's this minty aspect to it as well. There's also this like Greek and Turkish confection. I forgot the name of it exactly. I'll like put it on the screen here in picture and text, that this kind of reminds me of. This is also kind of like a marine toothpaste for me, like the creamy facets in terms of the textural feel, and then that mentholic opening and some of the sweet components almost remind me of just like a salty marine saltwater toothpaste is another thing that kind of comes to mind when I think of how this fragrance smells. It definitely has like a certain degree of blue versatility to it, so I don't think that the bottle color is that misleading, but it's definitely not like a blue freshie for the summertime. Now in terms of when, where, who is going to be the time and place to wear this fragrance, first of all, I think this is like I said, a versatile fragrance. You could easily make this a signature, and I think this is going to shine in the office and climate controlled environments. My top seasonal pick for this is going to be the autumn. I bought this for New Year's, I believe, during last winter, so I've had it during all 4 seasons. Only a small bit of this autumn, but I think this is the time where it shines the brightest, because this wants both a dry climate and a cool climate. The warm and sweet facets like the honey and the amber in here are gonna really cut through and shine and lend themselves very well to the autumn, particularly the honey. But then the like sort of cypress woody aspects kind of, and the salt as well, get drawn out very well by the dry aspects. So dry and cool autumn, and then summer nights. So those are the two environments and seasons, as well as climate controlled office, that this is going to be great for. Really good if you just want to smell good, inoffensive but mass appealing and easy to wear. I think this is for people that are 25 and up. It's great for like semi-formal dinner parties, that sort of occasion. I think this is going to be slightly dressed up more than casual. Good for, yeah, like a business dinner, a wedding dinner. This would be a great fragrance to just wear to a wedding. It definitely has a social aspect to it. Like I said, it's mass appealing and easily likable. But it has a certain air of like luxury about it too. Like I think they did sell a fragrance that would be appropriate for like a yacht club or a country club persona. Some of the professions I think would be great at rocking this, or people that are in that world of luxury but still sort of in the workforce. So like a butler or a limo driver or an image consultant or a real estate agent, somebody that is, you know, kind of dressed in a corporate style, surrounded in these luxury peripheral professions. This is going to be a great fragrance for that type of person. Now, performance and projection, I get about 5 hours of really good sillage. So this is pumping for a really long time in terms of how much people are going to be able to smell you. So it's about 5 hours before this turns into a skin scent. And then the remainder of the fragrance is going to stay on skin and clothes for 8+ hours. I easily smell this on my clothes days after I've had it on. And that's really where the cinnamon and the apple pie facets really start to kind of make themselves known. And so I think that pretty much covers this. I hope this review was helpful. I know it's kind of hard to kind of nail down a good description of this fragrance online because they haven't posted the notes and it's a little bit enigmatic, and the marketing has done a number on the community in terms of what you're getting with this fragrance. And in terms of best price, I think Joma Shop currently has this at $190 for 100 ml. That's the best price I've seen, but they do sales from time to time, and I think I've seen this come down as low as like $149 for a tester for 100 ml. That comes with a cap, so keep your eyes open for that. I think it's a great price and a great fragrance in that price range. Don't pay more than $200 for 100 ml of this though. And if I had to give this a rating out of 10, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10.